big news update on us leaving the UK as a family to travel and to world school. Big news. I've got 3 bits of news for you. And before we get stuck into that, I just want to recap a little bit and say it has taken us a year to get to this point. Check out our Living Our Best Life playlist for more on that. But what I will say, number 1 news is what we've been doing while we've been waiting, while we've been getting to this point of this big news. While we've been waiting, we've been looking into investments because we've sold, or we will be selling, everything to do this, and so we need to know how we're going to fund this, right? And a lot of people do ask that question. So we have been looking into investments to help us along the way. I say we, it's mostly hubby that's been looking into that because I don't have the brain space at the moment with dealing with it all. So I've let him do that. You can check him out on his channel. He talks about that in a bit more depth. Britain to Beyond. I will link it in the description. So yeah, investments, I say I'm not going to go too much into it. The whole stocks and shares thing and ISAs and stuff like that, it's all a bit beyond me. I'm good on the budget side of stuff, but he's learning all about the investments. So we've been focusing on that. We've also been focusing in this waiting period about our channels. So we each have a channel and we've been helping each other, and that's been really good. You know, I've been on YouTube a lot longer than he has, actually, because I had another channel, and he's kind of like just taken right off. Like he's very hyper focused. We think probably likely neurodivergent, ADHD, hyper focus, and off he goes. He's really gone into it and done really well. So I'm really proud of him. Our channels we've been focusing on to help each other, really, and it's been really good. That's my point. It's been really good to see him dive into this and do so well, and it's brought us together. You know, when one of us is struggling or can't remember where something is, we're helping each other out, and that's improved our bond. So yes, YouTube is difficult and it can tear you away from life, where I'm all about being mindful, and it can tear you away, but you have to be mindful of when you're going to dedicate time and do some time blocking on that. But when you're working as a couple, you know, when you do eventually get the kids to sleep and you can sit there on a night doing your thing, watching each other's thing, giving advice, it's really good, and it's brought us together. So that's something that we've been busy with. Excuse me. And the third thing, while we've been waiting, is our planning of where we're going and what we're doing. So a lot of you have been asking where you're going, and we haven't really been able to answer it. And we still don't know for sure, because the whole original idea was to get out and then start thinking about it, because it happened all really fast the first time we sold. We're now on the second time of selling because it fell through. And we've had a bit more time, but like I say, we've been putting our focus on all that other stuff, so we still haven't really planned. We have a little bit got closer to planning now, and we are thinking more likely it'll be Southeast Asia, probably Malaysia. We have looked into the visas, we're looking into what we need to enter and everything. So that is ongoing, and likely now that will be on the other side of us getting out. But that is all we know for now. We're literally doing it mindfully. This is the one thing that I have been mindful about. You know, I always like to plan and know what I'm doing and have that control. Part of being a mum, I guess. But this is the one thing I'm literally doing step by step by step. It's like, let's get this done. I can't focus on that right now because of the overwhelm, right? So I've been noticing when I'm overwhelmed and just reining it in and saying, I can only focus on this right now. I can only focus on this right now. And then when we get one step closer and one step closer, we bring something else in. And you know, delegating. So I've let hubby get on with those investments while I focus on other things. So that's where we're up to with planning. We will do more as we get out. Number 2, so this is one of the big hurdles about leaving, has been my daughter's teeth. So 2 years ago, excuse me, 2 years ago, our eldest daughter went to the dentist and they found a hole, and He said, come back and get it filled. So we booked another appointment a month later, went in, and he went in with the tool and he didn't explain what he was going to do. And he just went, does that hurt? And he was already in with it, and it really did hurt. And we didn't find that was the cause until a year later. So we attempted to go back to that same dentist 2 more times. So 3 times in a year, we tried to go back to the same dentist, not knowing that she didn't like him prodding her with the stick in a hole because it hurt. And so we waited a whole year for him to then say she's not going to do it in the chair. She needs to go to hospital and have general. So then we've been on a waiting list for a year. We finally got there. Hallelujah. We finally got to the end of this waiting list with a lot of pushing, a lot of persistence, and a lot of patience as well. We did resign to the fact, we tried to do it privately, but no, she needs general anaesthetic. Anyway, we did that this week. That was this week's proud moment for the whole family, is the fact that my daughter managed to go and do it. Now, yes, she's probably neurodivergent too. And she, because of this tool thing that she had a phobia with, they didn't have the ear thing, the ear probe for the temperature. They had the one where it goes under your armpit. So this big metal thing, they come at her, can we put this under your armpit? No, clammed up straight away. Next thing, can we listen to your chest? Tried it on us, showed her what it was all like. No, absolutely clammed up. It's a piece of equipment, it's going to hurt me. That's what she's saying in her head, right? Can we put some cream on your hand? Obviously, that's where the cannula's going to go for the general anaesthetic, and it needs to go on both hands. We can put it on your mum and dad if you want. So we all had that. Our other daughter was being looked at after at Granny's for this time. We stayed over in an Airbnb for 2 nights, just out of ease, and also to have a break from the whole house thing. So yes, so we had the cream on, and that was fine. They were okay with not getting her temperature and everything. She didn't appear ill, so they were fine with that. So then comes going into theatre. We kept occupied, played games, a couple of hours, and then by 10:30 we were called in. We had to be there from 8 o'clock. So we get called in to theatre, 10:30, and she's got her arm behind me. I'm hugging her. Dad's on the other side, and we're hugging. And she started to get, they hadn't done anything at this point, but she started to lean on me and get a little bit heavy. And I was like, I didn't think they'd started yet. And then she started pulling away a little bit, saying, I don't want to do it. And I thought, oh my God, are we even going to get this done? Are we getting this close, like really this close, and we're not going to be able to do it? I was like, oh my God. And before they knew it, they did it, and she was out, and she went limp. And that was it. I had to hand her over to all these people around the table. Me and Dad got away, and she just went limp, and she started shaking a bit. They said, don't worry about the shaking. It's just the anaesthetic going in. But it wasn't the shaking that got to me. It was the fact she'd gone limp. And I'm just stood there, and I start welling up, and it was not nice. It really wasn't nice, because it was like almost like we've made this happen. We've put so much pressure on this thing happening for 2 years, and it's one thing that we need to get done before we leave. And yeah, just to see her go limp like that, and all I could think is, please wake up again, please wake up again. And I know it's a simple thing, but you hear so many stories of going in for simple operations and things and not waking up, and the catastrophizing took over, and I allowed it. I knew in the moment that was happening. And we got taken out to a waiting room, and they said they'd bring us straight back in as she was waking. Like as soon as she woke up, they'd come back for us. So we were like, fine. So I'm in there. Richard's holding it together. He did say afterwards that he was struggling, but he said he was proud with how he dealt with it. So I'm in the waiting list, and I'm going, I hope she wakes up. I hope she wakes up. And I'm just like, and I'm breathing through it, and I'm like, right, okay, Carrie, she's all right. Right now, there is nothing to worry about. She is in safe hands. She is okay. They do this all the time. She's just having anaesthetic. She's just asleep, because that's the truth of it. That's the fact. So I came back to the fact instead of catastrophizing. And I came back to breathe. She's all right. Everything's okay right now. Everything's okay right now. And I just kept telling myself that. And eventually I stopped focusing on it and I was able to chat with hubby. And within half an hour, we were invited back. And yes, she was, woozy and, another proud moment, She was offered a bear, brave bear, that they could have in a sticker for going through it all. And she asked straight away, can I have another bear for my sister? And she likes pink and she likes Rapunzel, she'll have that sticker. And they said yes, and she could have this bear. And it was just like, she's half cut. She's just waking up from anesthesia and she's thinking about her sister. And I was like, wow, that is so nice, so kind. Because we do this, we do talk about prouds for the day and kinds for the day. It's part of our bedtime questions. I'll link that video where I talk about that in the description here. That has brought us as a family closer together, and it shows us looking for these things in the day. So the proud moments, the kind moments, the thankfuls, and what mistakes have you done that you've learnt from, if any. So check that video out. But yes, she came round, she was woozy, it was funny. And we didn't stay there long, and then we headed off and she was able to walk. So we just headed off. We were only 5 minutes down the road to this Airbnb, and she milked it, and that's fine. And I was massively relieved, she woke up. I'll never say stop talking again. Well, I probably will, but I'll think of it differently now. The fact that she does talk a lot and she is hyperactive. So that was a massive relief, a massive blessing, a use of mindfulness in the moment, which I'm proud of. That was my proud, that I used it and didn't let myself get too carried away with those catastrophizing thoughts. And if you've ever been and experienced that, if you've seen your kid get put to sleep, or you've had to be in hospital or something similar, where you've had to literally hand them over and there's nothing you can do about it, how have you coped? How have you managed? Because I'm welling up because it's emotional. It's, these big emotions, we're not taught how to be with them. And that's what I'm all about on this channel. Mindfulness really helps you to focus in, to really stop worrying about things that don't matter, feel the feels, but just don't stay there. And so anything that you've been through where you've used something similar, or you might think that's a good idea, I'll use it next time, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And finally, number 3 is potential dates. Potential dates. We're now talking dates. Yes. The solicitors are now talking to each other. However, one of them is now gone off on holiday. How rude. Or on annual leave at least, till the 9th of December. So that's why the first date that we're talking about is on the 10th of December. This date is potentially where the buyers in our chain will sort out their finances and have it transferred. So we need that money transferred before we can even talk dates. So they're talking potentially that might happen on the 10th of December. We are now on the 5th. Okay. So potentially exchange when they've done that with the money, we can then exchange contracts potentially on that same day. Now, why that's important is because we can't move forward until that date. Now, it's not set in stone in England when we exchange contracts. They can still get out, but it's a bit harder to get out of it. And so we are waiting for that date where we exchange contracts before we continue and sell the rest of our stuff, or charity it more than likely, because, we have tried to sell a lot of this already. We don't have a lot left. But last time we sold the beds before we got to that exchange date. So we've learnt that lesson. We're waiting for that because we were on the floor on camping mats for 2 months, if you remember. So we've learnt that lesson. We're not going to do that again. So when we get that, we'll think about working with the dates. And we've told them 2 weeks after that, which because of Christmas, we're looking a little bit earlier than 2 weeks. The 19th of December, hopefully we can be out. That gives us time to sell charity stuff ask for some childcare if we can to help us out with all this, get that booked in, and most importantly, find an Airbnb in this country. So we're going to leave here, go to an Airbnb in this country, because we need to change our addresses, driving license, all that, get it back, and also get the visas sorted and what we have to do, and then book flights. So, and now we're in the most expensive time of the year, so we're probably going to wait for flying in January. So we're probably not going to leave the UK now till January, but we will be in an Airbnb for a couple of weeks from the 19th, hopefully, until just into the new year. And that will cover Christmas. I've mentioned in another video, we don't necessarily celebrate Christmas so much now, more the winter solstice and the winter coming and time of the year. But 2 days after Christmas is our 10-year anniversary. So we are looking for a nice Airbnb, let's put it that way. So if we can't be away in the sun at this time, which is what we intended to happen, you know, it's all about acceptance, is mindfulness. You can't control the external, you can only control the internal. So what we've decided is we'll probably get a nice Airbnb and just deal with that extra expense. Have that here, do all the bits, get prepared, start the real planning for going and looking for Airbnbs over in probably Malaysia, and that's it. We'll be out for January, all being well. So keep tuned, stay tuned, and see if those dates work out. Here's hoping, but yes, it's the 5th today, so we're not looking very, very long, are we? We can only really start moving from the 10th, so it's all go. So really exciting and nerve-wracking, you know. My friend was like, oh, you must be excited. I was like, that's not the first emotion, it's more panic. So yeah, it's moving, we're getting there, and we're very thankful to be where we are. And you know, it's brought us closer together as a family, which is what it's all about, right? So stay tuned, much love, thanks for watching, bye for now.